Hi, I'm Rob Cram, and today we're taking a look at Ironland's eagerly anticipated cyberpunk-themed story-driven adventure game, Cloudpunk. To begin, you play as newcomer to the futuristic city of Nivalis, Rania, a driver for hire who begins her adventure working for the secretive Cloudpunk organization. It's her first night on the job, but rather than just undertake deliveries for all and sundry, she becomes embroiled in a number of situations that point to underlying problems within the city. No spoilers here. For the most part, the biggest draw Cloudpunk offers comes from the wonderfully designed city. The voxel-based design looks and feels exceptionally well crafted, as it evokes feelings of Blade Runner and many other Metropolis-themed sci-fi cityscapes. Being able to freely fly around in your hover vehicle, and not just on a singular plane either, grants the player an immense feeling of freedom. Rania can also land at various parking zones and get out on foot to explore, adding another layer to viewing the city. All's good then? Well, not quite. With an obvious attention to detail with the design of the sprawling city, the gameplay seems to have less attention lavished upon it. Now, before we start to break this down, there are a few things to bear in mind. The game comes developed by a small indie studio with limited resources. The price of entry is pretty cheap considering the amount of offer here, currently at £15.29. The game comes presented as a finished product rather than an early access release. With all that said then, the developers have gone on record to suggest they plan to add more to the game. So take that as you will. As it stands as of today though, and for this review, the game offers a story-driven experience where players move from one person to the next, performing simple fetch or drop-off quests. That's pretty much the basis of the gameplay. Cloudpunk's populace are presented as a varied bunch of cyberpunk humans, androids and regular non-augmented folk. But secret societies and other inhabitants live throughout the segmented zones and underbelly of the city. Interestingly, all characters have voice actors of varying quality, and some offer more interesting stories than others. For example, one character needing transport was a famous pop star, with a story similar to the Black Mirror episode featuring a particular Miley Cyrus doll. Again, no specifics here unless you're familiar with the episode. It also came as a massive shame when one of the more impressive story arcs only appeared in the latter portion of the game. In this regard, the game felt too long-winded, perhaps relying on filler content to prolong the play hours. Some non-skippable conversations with your companion AI dog seemed to drag on needlessly as well, and often prevented progress until finished. To be frank, the AI companion character relationship was least interesting. The dog didn't really fit the sci-fi theme so much, not even as a Muppet stand-in. Bonus points if you get the Battlestar Galactica reference. The ground exploration feels pretty simple, but it's here where Rania collects items left on the ground. These are either quest specific or sellable to various vendors who wander most landing zone areas. Rania can also speak with various key people and pick up additional quests along the way. Aside from some confusing navigation at times due to the multi-layered levels and spinning camera angles, this aspect feels about right for the game. The game's biggest missed opportunity seems to be with driving the vehicle. Systems are in place for vehicle damage, and yet no mission exists where gangs or corporations try and ram your vehicle to scupper your missions. Rania can refuel, upgrade and even repair her vehicle at specific stations around the city, but the only hazard comes from accidentally hitting inanimate objects or other vehicles. A shame then the damage and fuel systems aren't expanded. The game also offers timed missions where you have to race from A to B within the specific time, but these missions are very late in the game and amount to just a handful. The game talks about illegal street racing, another element which could have given Rania an outlet to earn more coin for her efforts. For the sake of the story, so much gets crammed into just one night on the job. The story could have easily spread itself over several nights, perhaps presenting the city during daylight hours for some respite. In a way, as the gameplay stands now, it feels like the basis for something much grander in scale. In terms of length and value for money, for the asking price, there's a lot of content, even if it's somewhat repetitive. The fact Ironlands voiced most key characters is a huge bonus, even if the quality in some instances isn't as good as it could be. With a 10-hour plus story to work through, collectibles and side missions, one cannot feel shortchanged over the content on offer. As previously mentioned, Cloudpunk looks like an ambitious project that needed rounding off before it could be fully realised. However, as it stands, you'll find an interesting cyberpunk themed story to play through, and then there's the amazing city to just fly around. Toss in some awesome music, and it's almost worth recommending the game just for these two aspects alone. If you're looking for something different and a bit out there, then you could do much worse than this. If you're a cyberpunk or sci-fi fan, then this is well worth checking out, even if it's to marvel at the city. Hopefully the developers add more elements as DLC or updates in the future. If they don't, then at least they have a good footing for Cloudpunk 2 if that ever becomes a thing. Cloudpunk scores 7 out of 10. I'm Rob Cram, thanks for watching.
Like he is confused.
Broadcasting nav point. Collect the package, 14FC. Get on with it.
Who from? Where am I going?
Always questions from you. Just do your goddamn job. Control out.
What you looking for? Whatever it is, I got it.
Thanks.
Hey, come back.
Unauthorized street races have been reported in this sector.
That is awesome.
Life Corp. Become your new perfect.
Pretty cool.